Like don't be so hung up if you're healthy on demonizing insulin. Focus a little bit more on maybe the time between meals for that insulin to come back down.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's almost like a term I use is sinusoidal curve. So this almost like this up and down. It's not a linear line all day, at a set level. It is a rise and valley that occurs. And that's actually a common process in many aspects of our physiology and biology. Through circadian rhythms, you see these ups and downs that occur naturally. And that's the same with insulin. Insulin goes through highs and lows, valleys throughout the day and in response to food. And that is completely normal in most circumstances for the most part. There are obvious exceptions to that rule. But yes, when you have these high levels of insulin, you're changing enzymatic processes to facilitate storage and shut down certain processes like fat breakdown, liver release of glucose levels into circulation, and really facilitating storage. The amount of insulin does matter because the more you have, the more you will store. In these valleys, it allows for the body to undo that process, but lower insulin sufficiently to kind of counteract that process. So you don't want to be in a storage process all day, right? You don't want to store fat 24/7 or attempt to elevate protein synthesis 24/7. If that was the case, if insulin drove anabolism of the muscle 24/7 just by elevated levels, people with type 2 diabetes would be the most jacked people on earth. And it's just not what happens, right? There is pathology associated with just chronically excess amounts of insulin. It is about having both the peaks to drive certain processes, but also the valleys that are essential really to allow for this to have normal function. Where in the context of type 2 diabetes, it's chronically elevated. You might have some spikes within this chronic elevation, but the chronic elevation really disrupts the physiology. So it's a common theme in us as humans and in physiology and biology in general to have both peaks and valleys that are essential to allow for the peak to have its important role in things like muscle protein synthesis and fat storage, or stopping processes of just allowing for elevated levels of ketone bodies to unbridled levels, which in the context of diabetes is called diabetic ketoacidosis. But then in the low levels, it allows for certain liberating processes, the breakdown of fat, the allowance of liver to release more glucose. I mean, these are normal biological processes of highs and lows. And if you don't have those highs and lows, you actually see a lot of pathological perturbances associated with that.